Yo, everybody, welcome once again to another session of Subs Lie, Dubs Lie, a comprehensive anime podcast. It's your boy Jay, aka Versace Vegeta, and I'm here none other than with that boy, Brother D.
Yo, what is going on, my people? It's your boy D. What's happening?
Man, we coming really strong off of a really amazing Dragon Ball Super superhero review. Again, shouts out to Meals and Jeff for joining us on that one. Much love to the Lookout crew.
Hell yeah.
Really dog.
That, yo.
How many more times have you been able to see the movie since?
Shit. I went and watched the Japanese version yesterday. So man. I was supposed to watch the movie again today with my pops, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I'm going to just send you out to watch it. So he should be home now. By the time we finish this pod, he'll be probably waiting to, I guess, get his review off. Yeah.
That's dope, man. Yeah, I've had a chance to see it twice. Saw it in English and Japanese as well. So really, those were the original shows I was planning on going to see anyway. Yeah. So I definitely was really happy to see it in 4DX and in IMAX. Really cool just to see like you have the water falling down like during the scene wherever Gohan was fighting against Gamma 1. You feel like the whooshes of wind whenever Piccolo's fighting against Gamma 2 early in the movie. Like little stuff like that was really cool to experience. And with that IMAX showing, just God, just being able to see that on such a huge screen, what an experience. I definitely recommend anybody go see it. If you can see it with a little extra, go do that. But we can already tell that plenty of people have gone to see this movie, as it was number one in the box office for this weekend. Wound up having the highest opening day and opening weekend of any anime movie of all time, beating Pokemon, the first movie for that record. I think that's like a 23-year record.
That shit is nuts, bro. But it's well deserved. That shit is well deserved. It was a great movie. Well deserved. I'm happy.
It really was. You can go back and listen to our episode from last week if you want to get our thoughts on it, obviously. But we definitely want to know what y'all think. So feel free to hit us up on Twitter, at Versace Vegeta, at Brother D, you know what I'm saying? Even if you want to shout out to the Lookout Twitter page, let us know what y'all thought, because it really is a big movie, a big moment for Dragon Ball fans, as folks are still getting their chances to see it. But aside from just how we were able to review Dragon Ball Superhero thanks to Crunchyroll last week, how else was your week, dog?
Yo, my week was pretty dope, fam. I ain't even gonna lie. Got to go watch the movie, which was that was a big plus. On top of that, shit. What else? Because I really got lost in the sauce. Really, I just hanging out with the fam, drunk a bit, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We've been watching a bunch of preseason football, so it's like. We prepared for the real rough times. You know what I'm saying? Because we like over here in Cowboy Nation, we don't really get that much. You don't have that much shit to be excited about. So
trust me, I understand. As a young dog from Texas, I definitely get it.
You know what I'm saying? You just gotta get yourself into the football spirit. Been watching, surprisingly. With the Yankees being absolute garbage this month, it has not ruined my week. So I'm really glad. The old me, let's say last year, I'd probably be miserable than a bitch. I can't stand. If there's one thing about me, I cannot stand when I see my teams look like garbage. I can't. It really hurts. But I guess that's just growth as a whole. You just learn that some shit ain't important. And as much as I love them teams, it ain't worth me screaming and yelling anymore. So it's just been hanging with the fam and a bunch of sports. How's your week, bro?
Man, honestly, real quiet. You know what I'm saying? Just been chilling with friends and whatnot, man. Kicking back. Really hasn't been too much, other than going to go see the movie. Really, that was the biggest part of my week. Just getting to seeing the things with work and everything, dude. I swear to God, sometimes life outside of this feels like a blur, and then when I'm focused on the show, it's like, okay, cool. Like I got something to like hone into.
Yep.
Which is gonna kill me because, as y'all may or may not know, this is our season finale.
Shit it's the last this season, bro. That shit crazy.
I know, man. It's so tough. Like to feel like, because we've just been going strong these past 12 weeks. 12 weeks.
Goddamn weeks, man.
Man.
That's insane. Who's counting though? like who counting? But 12 motherfucking weeks.
I know. It's just we've been going so hard with this show, and it's been really, really dope getting to work with you here, D. Honest to God. Like
it's amazing, fam. It's like my favorite part of the weekend.
It really is. Yeah, it's my favorite part of the week is well, dog. Like
it's a great link up, and we get to shoot the shits about something that we grew up watching. Like,
yeah,
who doesn't enjoy that? Like, it's an adventure. It's a mystical adventure. Like,
it's a truly mystical adventure, man.
Like,
you know what I'm saying?
Crazy. Like, the just getting to talk with a bunch of people about the shit that we talk about it's fun as hell, man. That shit's fun.
Over the past 12 weeks, we got the power. You know what I mean? Like, we've really been able to build up on something really great, be able to build a sense of community with you all, seeing what y'all feel about these movies over the years, and going through all of that has just been really great. So we decided this week we would give you all something special. Since we have covered all of the Dragon Ball movies thus far, there's a couple of pieces of Dragon Ball media that may be revered like movies, but while they're not, these two TV specials are two of the greatest pieces of Dragon Ball media that you can fit within that 45-minute time range. So we said, why don't we go and dip into these two as well? So this week we will be uncovering none other than Dragon Ball Z, Bardock, the Father of Goku, and Dragon Ball Z, the History of Trunks. It's been really, really dope being able to go and watch these over again. I don't know about you, D. I hadn't watched them both in years.
Me either. Like I've seen clips of because what I do with Dragon Ball, like if I have like a feeling of like seeing some shit, I'll just go watch a clip of it. But I didn't watch these movies in a while, bro.
Yeah,
especially the dub. Like I haven't watched the dub since they aired it. Like
yeah, same. Not since like I originally watched those VHSs back in the day.
Them expensive ass VHS.
Oh my God, yes, bro. Some goes hitting us over the head for $35 a tape.
$35 for one big old tape, and you had to eat that. Like it is what it is.
Not only did you have to eat it, you had to love it.
Oh hell yeah! There was no man. Again, them times they were special, but boy, they were hard on pockets, especially for me. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, that shit was taxing.
Oh, hell yeah, man. It was like 12, 13. I didn't just have this money to just throw around, bro.
That shit. And my parents, do you think my parents were really going to sit here and just give me some shit for Dragon Ball? The shit that's dominating the house at the time. Like, they want me to stop watching Dragon Ball. That shit taking up the whole afternoon of mine. They don't, if there was ever a chance for them to get to say no and love saying no, it was me asking for money if I can buy a VHS. Insane shit. Like, really, like, I'm pretty sure that they got joy out of just saying no. And looking back, you know what I'm saying? I'd say no too. Like, you got like what, 3-4 episodes in them VHSs for $35?
At most 4.
Exactly, at most 4. Like, and whatever you got. That's it. It don't matter if it was a whack episode. It could be the most boring episodes ever. You got it. You took it. you loved it. If you didn't love it, shit, you watched it and forced yourself to love it. You hate watched it, you did whatever. But man, watching these things again, they're timeless, bro. Like they're timeless specials. For sure, for sure.
And we'll be really glad to get into both of these, man, because they are definitely pieces that represent the moments that they came out in, while also being standouts as some of the best pieces of media for the times that they represent, with the Frieza saga and the Android saga. So let's go ahead, get right into it, man, with Dragon Ball Z TV Special 1, Bardock, the Father of Goku.
Planet Vegeta. Many years ago, a small child was born. Unheralded and unattended by its father or mother, the baby cried out, making its lonely plea to the universe. The Saiyans were a people of war, and like all Saiyan babies, the child was destined to fight.
My goodness, that's one loud kid. Yes, he'll be great. Watch.
That's a bold prediction for the son of a low-class soldier. Let's see. Bardock's son, huh? Planthor, I wouldn't stake my reputation on that prediction if I were you.
You just wait. Come here, Malaka. Do you hear that? That's the cry of a great warrior. Let's see. Kakarot. Remember that name.
On planet Vegeta, a Saiyan named Kakarot is born. His father, Bardock, soon obtains the ability to see the future and discovers that Frieza has turned on the Saiyans. Bardock confronts him, but Frieza destroys planet Vegeta, and the Saiyans as Kakarot is sent off to Earth. And so, the story of Dragon Ball begins. Man, this was one of those where, you know, we always kind of wondered what that story was like, right? I know as a kid, it was like, you know, we got the couple of mentions of Bardock, you know, especially if we're just talking about the English dub, right? Vegeta brings him up once.
Yeah.
We get the little flashback where, you know, when Frieza first sees Goku, he's like, wait a second, this dude looks just like, oh boy, you know what I mean? But we didn't really know nothing about him. What was it like for you as a kid, I guess? Like before we go in just like the totality of how this has an effect on Dragon Ball in today's era, right? For you as a kid seeing Bardock and his crew in this adventure, what was that like for you?
Oh, this was like, at the time, for what it was, like this felt real special, bro. Because if it tapped into the side of Dragon Ball that really you didn't get until like a important, like, you know, some of the most drastic scenes of Dragon Ball usually happen in like maybe the beginning of like an important arc. Like let's say the start of the King Piccolo.
Yeah.
When you see just Krillin is dead, you see Goku just checking in and Krillin is dead. Like I got the chills of that feeling in this movie because it was like the stakes were high. Everything is like, it's a serious special. It's a very sad special. Like it's not a joke thing. There's no the comedy, like there's no banter or any of that, barely. It's just very straightforward. It's straight. The main character of the special, he's no nonsense. He's like he's the exact opposite of Goku. So it's like everything is so serious, but it's good. Like really good. Like if this wasn't Dragon Ball as a whole, and if it was just some special, if you didn't know anything about Dragon Ball Z, you just put this special on, it's good. Like it's objectively a good special. Like it's really good. It's still held up from there. Like me growing up, it hasn't changed my opinion. The opinions I had as a youngin', they're still the same as my current adult self. So I'm glad that the movie aged well. Well, TV special, according to Toriyama, it's a movie. Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that after.
Yeah. Yes. But you're absolutely right, man. This was one of those ones where I know I would think like, oh wow, like we finally get to see something that shows us what the Saiyans were like before, we ever got to see Vegeta and Nappa and those guys, right? Yeah. So it was really exciting to me getting to see Bardock and his squad go out on their mission to Planet Kanasa, seeing even just Bardock's depiction as a character back then. Because, there's the whole thing of like, he was kind of a badass. Just
like
he's a mission.
He's a badass. Like the scar and everything, badass. Like
everything about it. Just
design the armor. This shit was badass, bro. Like, let's be real. Like, it was badass.
And it was just really cool. I forget if it was Fasha or if it was. It was one of his crew. They go like, "Are you going to go back to Planet Vegeta to go see your son that he was just born?" And he goes, "Why would I care about that?"
It was Fasha. Like,
this dude right here is different, man.
He was. I was like, yo, this nigga's vicious. I like him though. Like he was. It's crazy. Like it gives the movie, like the special, gives off the vibes of like the mid 2000s animes, like where it's like everything felt like edgy. Like it's not edgy, but it's like
that's just the kind of characters that they were. Yeah,
like that's what it was. And this is way before. Way before that was really like big like thing, in my opinion.
These were the kind of characters that, based on the lore of the Saiyans that we've been given, this is what we believe Saiyans would be like.
Yeah, just grimy motherfuckers that you clearly would not respect, but they were cool. They were cool.
I dug all that shit. I really like seeing all of Frieza's army, that was in the movie show up. Seeing Zarbon be like, "Hey, yo, the Saiyans are they're kind of weak, but if a bunch of them was to gang up on us." I really don't know how that's gonna go for us, man.
Jump us, I don't know, bro. I don't know. You're gonna have to do something. I ain't gonna lie.
Almost a little bit more realistic than it just being about Frieza being scared of the Super Saiyan.
Right? Yeah, like that. I mean, it's whatever. Like I get it was a big selling point for the arc, for the anime arc. But it's like a bunch of it makes sense. Like, hey, it's a bunch of these monkeys. Like, yo, and we've seen that how ferocious they are with them just transforming and them destroying, doing just a bunch of dangerous, violent shit.
Yeah.
So if they could do all of that, what the hell are these guys gonna do? And they don't look the toughest. They really don't. With the way how the Freeze character and Zarbon, and like they don't really like the toughest of characters. So you think that Zarbon and them would get smoked easily. So it's like it makes way more sense. Way more sense than he's just afraid of Super Saiyans.
Yeah. And they even show that, these characters, this team, they're not just like these invincible Saiyans, you know what I mean? Like Fasha, Borgos, Tora, they all wind up getting done in by Dodoria's team the moment they're away from Bardock after he had been basically gotten attacked by that Kanasan and given the psychic abilities on that planet at the beginning of the movie. But it was really cool in the sense of like, okay, this is how Frieza's squad would have reacted to the Saiyans. Like they would have been like trying to pick them off a little bit early. Then once they knew they could go in one fell swoop, boom, attack the planet. Right. And even though we get all of that in a really succinct way in this movie, in this special rather, I just really like the amount of time that they spend showing these beats of, okay, you have the Saiyans going out doing their thing on other planets. Then we have basically the impact of what's going to happen here, where Frieza's squads are going out attacking these Saiyans, making sure that it's not just going to be this huge uprising, right?
Yeah.
Then Bardock going back to the planet after he comes across that, trying to warn folks, and they're just like, say, dog, why would Frieza ever get rid of us? We're part of his army.
Like,
that all of that, like just the struggle of it all in the second half, really, really, really enjoyed how that was all presented here.
Hell yeah. Just seeing the frustration of Bardock, I was like, yeah, this is dope. This is dope.
He was just like, yo, like, all right, clearly I can't fight for y'all. All I can do is try to make sure that, something can be done, because I'm not going to sit here and just get killed.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Like, come on, we talk about saying pride a lot.
And
like, this is as prideful as you can get. I'm not going to go out just without a fight. At least I'm going to go out swinging, and that's what he did.
And then B, he's seeing these visions of his son fighting him in the future. He can't make no sense of it.
Yeah.
It's really just him. He's not even trying to save anything because he knows he can't.
Yeah.
He's just, that pride takes over. He's just doing everything he can to fight against this unparalleled, unsurmountable battle. And his entire struggle against it is just like some of the most hot-blooded action you'll ever see in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's when he goes. Like,
it's one of those things where even Akira Toriyama himself would go on to say, just like you mentioned earlier, Akira Toriyama does see this as a movie because he said it was his favorite.
Yeah, which is funny.
It is.
He's not helping the joke. He's not helping the whole, like, this is special. Not him.
His reason I did admire, though, is because he said it was this kind of story he wouldn't draw.
Like, yeah, he wouldn't do this shit.
Yeah.
This shit's kind of tough.
Because he was like, okay, wait, no, like, they kind of taking it there, dog. Like,
yeah, they violent, real violent here. Like, shit, there's only so much I can do. Shit, I ain't on this type of shit. Like, this is kind of nasty.
And because of that, we have a really, like I said, I called it this before, but I really mean it. It's a hot-blooded story.
Hell yeah.
They go all the way with making sure that, the Saiyans are presented in this way that it was not just something where, like, they fell in line to Frieza's rule.
Yeah.
Even though the majority of them just sort of saw it as their regular everyday life.
Yeah.
Bardock, in and of himself, in his fight, was standing up enough to say, like, yo, nah, like, something got to be done about this.
Yeah, I'm not down with this whole bow down shit. Like, I'm changing something. I'm gonna make a difference somehow, some way, even if it may not be enough. I'm gonna do something. Which, that's the same spirit. Doing something, doing your best, no matter what. Trying your best to do something to affect something. That's usually what we see in the hands. But hey, it was a good attempt to do so. I'm like, way better than motherfuckers just drinking and having fun. Like, saying, hey, Frieza ain't gonna do us in. We're his guys. Like, excuse me?
Yeah, like what?
Do you know who this guy is?
I don't think you really taking your own boss that serious.
Like, shit. This is a motherfucker that'd sell your planet if he felt like it. But again, really cool.
Very, very cool. In Japan, originally, this aired on October the 17th, 1990, in between episodes 63 and 64. And where that falls in line is in the Namek arc, right between the episodes where Krillin and Gohan are fighting against Goldo, and then Vegeta jumps in and then ends that fight, and then right when they start fighting against Raccoon. So just really interesting point in time as far as when this is originally shown, because they're getting right into the thick of all the action of the Namek Saga, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're right before Goku is about to join into the fight. So it's really just kind of hinting at the fact that, like, hey, like this is what all this is about to culminate into.
Yeah, we're gonna get a big showdown. Like, and you kind of got that big, like, because you have King Kai while Goku was training, like, yo, if you find this guy Frieza, don't fight this man. Don't do it. Even though he didn't listen, which was good for us because it was really entertaining, but still.
Extremely entertaining.
It shit felt like a pay-per-view. Like a big pay-per-view. Like everything was just culminating. Like, hey, you fight this guy. This might not end up well for you. And
this
then
is one of my favorite parts of the entire show, to be honest.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So, and we get a special, we see a little stare down. I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
This is it.
They was building up towards the Mania match of Goku versus Frieza.
Hell yeah. That shit was a movable force against a movable object.
Yes, sir.
Force, movable object. So it was dope. They knew what they were doing. It made for compelling TV.
It did.
So,
and it's too bad that in the States we didn't get this until November of 2000. Which by this point, we're into the point where we're seeing Cell Saga stuff.
Yeah. It's like you just got a bone. It was still a cool thing to see, but it's like, hey, what you were trying to do with the special, like it doesn't do what it was supposed to do for
exactly. And that's why it has sort of that sort of feel of being a movie here in the States.
Yeah.
Because it's just another adventure that we wind up seeing, but it's like, oh, okay, this is what Bardock's past was like, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in Japan, they got it right along in the show. You get the full context of what story this is trying to tell at the point that it's trying to tell it.
Yeah. It is what it is. You can't really stop. You can't really change the past. But it would have been nice for us to get that while we were getting the Namek. Especially, you remember the time where we just get a repeat of the Namek Saga over and over and over again?
Yes.
Like,
this would have been perfect to show.
That shit would have held us down. I would have had no problem rewatching that shit. But rewatching the same art over and over, no. That was some of the most it wasn't terrible because it was a good part of Dragon Ball. It was like, enough is enough, fam. Like, when are we gonna move on? So, it is what it is. You have to take it. You just got to take it with a grain of salt. But it's still, no matter how it aired, it still was really good. It was to the point where folks really high, like they hold this special in high regards. Like, it's, if you ask somebody what is one of their favorite Dragon Ball movies, they're gonna throw this up there, even if it's a TV special. So it did its job in the States for sure. So I guess it's a win. And
a really big win in the sense that they would then go on to do another TV special in the middle of the Android and Cell Saga with Dragon Ball Z, the TV special 2, The History of Trunks, which we'll be able to go over right now.
Falling victim to a radical new virus, Goku passed from the Earth, leaving his loved ones behind. Unfortunately, this unhappy occasion was merely a foreshadowing of the horrible tragedies that were still to come. 6 months later, on an island 9 miles southwest of South City, a dreadful duo launched an attack. Coming to the defense of the inhabitants were Earth's special forces. Piccolo was the first to try, and the first to die. Vegeta was next to fall, then Yamcha, then Tien. Even Krillin was destroyed by the ruthless duo. 2 artificial beings with strength beyond normal conception have appeared out of nowhere. It is the beginning of a new era for the Earth, an era of darkness.
The artificial humans have left the future in shambles, killing all of the Z Warriors but 2, Gohan and Trunks. As the 2 battle to save the future, Gohan is killed and Trunks finally obtains the power of the Super Saiyan. However, even that isn't enough to defeat such evil. So the young boy travels to the past in search of hope. My favorite of the two TV specials, like just, I can't even say that I'm unbiased or anything like that. Like when it comes to these two here, this one, man, like there's just so much in Dragon Ball media today that represents this story. Shouts out to the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot DLC. Shouts out to Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. All that kind of stuff, right? But it's just like, this is a story that, as simple as it is, with them just starting with like, hey, yo, in Trunks' future, this is what happens where Goku died. 6 months later, Android showed up. Everybody gets murked. 13 years later, now we've got Gohan and Trunks dealing with them.
Yeah. Which was a cool. That was
just
cool.
Like the first special. It gets right into the thick of letting you know what the story is about. But this one, it's, you know, the Bardock special is less bleak because it's leading towards the hope of the future that Goku will be able to avenge all of the Saiyans in defeating Frieza. When you watch this story, you're just watching the story of a future that's already been destroyed, that's only been being destroyed worse, and will never be saved.
Yeah, this shit is like trauma. This is a trauma. This is a trauma special. This is heartbreak. You can get attached to future Gohan, especially if you are not a fan of the Gohan that you were seeing at the time. Like, you see this cool ass Gohan and the way how he died, and also, bro, and shit rough. And there's no way you can salvage this. None. There's no Dragon Balls. There ain't shit. It's just torture and torture and torture. So yeah, I get it. This shit is straight bleak. No promise. There's no hope. No matter what they told you, Bulma was a lie. It was a lie. The hope on the time machine, it was a lie. There's no hope for this shit.
I mean, even so much to the fact that whenever Bulma mentions building the time machine, it's just kind of like a throwaway line. She's like, oh, well, I mean, hey, in a few months, we'll be able to go to the past and maybe we'll try to see if we can help save Goku's life and see what happens. But like, there wasn't no plan. There wasn't no, like, we know for sure. She was just building it off the strength of the fact that she knew she had to try something.
Yeah, like, it's what can you possibly do? Stay there and do nothing, or just try to do something to help somebody, no matter what timeline or era. Do something. This was a tough movie. As a kid to watch, it was tough. That shit hurt, and you know what scene hurt.
Oh yeah, of course.
That shit hurt. No matter what version you watch, it shit hurt. That shit hurted. That shit hurted. I felt Trunks' pain. I felt that, man.
And it's one of those things where, like, you have this entire connection to Trunks already because, you know, you're already deep into the Android Saga. So it's like, oh man, this has to be about how he goes Super Saiyan.
And we already know how. We already seen how one person turned Super Saiyan. So shit gotta be bad if the way how Trunks reacts to things. Because you can just take a bit and peek into his character. Trunks is very, very hesitant to do much. When Vegeta is like, oh, let's go allow that. No, it's like, no. Trunks isn't none of that. He's no nonsense. He doesn't want anything to happen that he's seen. So seeing exactly what he was trying to warn the current cast and the current timeline about, just seeing that shit happen in the movie, it was rough. It was rough. That shit was tough.
It's really interesting too because, you know, this is one of those things where this was originally just like it's an adapted manga chapter, right? And, you know, I can say for the both of us, typically Dee and I do recommend saying like, hey, read the manga when it comes to anything about this, like to get the best version of it. But this is like the one time where the anime was so much better than the manga.
Yo, hell yeah, this shit smokes the manga. It so smokes the manga. Like, you don't even get, like, shit, Trunks is already a Super Saiyan before the scene that we're talking about. So it's like,
like, whatever. Yeah, like, you don't see Trunks go Super Saiyan. Like, it's implied.
Yeah, you don't even see the scene where the fighters are, like, fighting. Like, no, you don't. The Z fighters, there's no, you don't see them getting smoked. There's none of that. Not even Trunks and Gohan don't even fight together in the manga. Like, that shit was
Gohan already has one arm. Like, it starts like halfway through where this starts.
Yeah, like in terms of like showing, it was way better at emoting what it was trying to do. Like, the manga is like whatever. It was less graphic, but we already know. You should know for a fact how Toriyama. If you are aware of what happened in the first special and you've heard his thoughts, like, it's something I would never draw. I don't even think he could. There's no way he could have done half of what we just saw on him. We couldn't, because this shit was tough. It was mad bleak. I don't even think Toriyama would be able to do the whole Gohan's death scene. Like, I don't think he'd be able to do it. Not that, no. Nah.
It's just not, it's not the same kind of story. Like you said, like Trunks, in the anime version, the entire weight of Gohan's death leads Trunks to go Super Saiyan. In the manga, Trunks is just already one. Like, he's trained, the first time you see him train with Gohan, he's already in Super Saiyan. Yeah.
And there's no rain or any of that. Like that, like,
like he sees him in the streets, dead. He lands next to him. He starts screaming, crying. Then 3 years later,
like that shit. Cause right 3 years later, like on some shit is like whatever. Like, oh well. 3 years later,
he's taking groceries with his mom. It's just like, okay, all right. I mean, I guess. So it's just really interesting because, like I said, if you ever are checking out the original manga, like this TV special, it just blows it out of the water. Like, it's one of the few times I can say that about any Dragon Ball media.
Yeah, it smokes the manga. Smokes it. That's not to say it's like bad. Like, it's okay, and the manga's okay, but nah, the anime blew this shit out the water. It gave what it was supposed to give. Like, that way, like, if there was a way for me to feel sympathetic for Trunks, the anime did it.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, there's just little moments of, like I said, Gohan versus the androids. Even the whole section of Trunks versus the androids at the end, right? Like, him trying to fight after he's just gone Super Saiyan. He just gets his ass beat. Android 18 beats him out of Super Saiyan, then beats him back into Super Saiyan. It's nuts, dude. It's...
have that shit in them. Like, bro, there's no gang up scene going on in the manga. Like, you can read the chapter yourself. You can read it. I remember it's in volume 33 or something like that. You can see the manga. It ain't as graphic, and it does not draw the emotion that the animated movie special does. It doesn't.
But it's just, really, really an interesting piece that does show a really great part of the history of Dragon Ball. Going in and just that entire 45 minutes. Hell, he's not even in the movie the whole 45 minutes. The 20 minutes that future Gohan is in this movie just set the entire tone of what so many people expected that character to wind up being like. And I would say like really one of the best takes on the character overall. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Everything is just so bleak in this shit.
The androids are deadly as hell. Like you get a good sense quick that these androids ain't the same androids from Goku's timeline at all.
Which is crazy because you know how they said, hey, like there was a difference. Trunks said, like, yo, these androids in the current time, they're stronger than those ones that we've seen in the movie. And I'm like, this clearly, the manga might have had something to do with that because what I've seen in the movie, there's no way. These motherfuckers are doing them dirt. They're doing everything dirty. You could say the strength, there may be a difference in strength, but even with strength, like it's really hard to believe because they were pounding the shit out of True. They were doing him dirty, way dirtier than what they. I know people like to show the Android 18 versus Vegeta thing. Like, no, Android 17 and 18 beating the hell out of Gohan is way more violent than whatever Vegeta got. The whole arm shit, no, don't it pales.
Hell, Trunks really lucky he walked out with his life in this movie.
I was still confused. Like, how the hell? Like, how? Android 18's like, yo, let me do it. I'm sitting there like, huh? I'm like, this nigga dead. Like, if you did not know what was going on and what in hindsight, if you didn't know anything in hindsight, you would think he's dead. There was no way. That shit looked bleak as hell for him.
Yeah. The only hope in this movie was the word on the time machine.
Yeah, exactly. That was a lie. There was a big lie. Hope. No, that was just a selling point for the current timeline. This time not smoked. It's nothing you could do. Ain't shit to salvage. Ain't nothing there. Everybody's getting destroyed. It's to the point where back then when I was young, I always used to think that there was barely any humans in the timeline, this future timeline. It's like the way how this movie shows, like everybody getting smoked, like kids are dying and it's shit. Like, fam, where?
And it's like it's wild because, like they said, like the androids have been around a whole 13 years. Like, bro, how is anybody still around?
How is still anybody around? So when we saw in Super, like, folks are still there and King, I'm like, huh? What the hell was this? Did we have a Bible scenario over here? Like, how did people just magically just start floating and more folks? There's sentient people on this planet. Like, there's folks in here? Huh? Very nuts. Confusing, but nuts. So, hey, this shit was violent as hell. Good.
Very good. Violent. Very good. Very classic, man. I love this one. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. If you're listening to this, you likely have seen the history of Trunks, but I will say, man, even if you have seen it, go give that one a run back because Dragon Ball Z History of Trunks, great TV special.
That's special.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, really, really, really a testament of its time. And it would be cool to see any part of Dragon Ball today get something just like this done.
Oh, hell yeah. It would be dope. But hey, in the way how Dragon Ball is looking, like, who knows? You might get it. You might get it. You might just get it. Again, this was cool. And I like how the scenes were done in even games. Like, years past in Kakarot, they did the DLC.
The DLC for this game is the best part of the damn game.
That shit mimics exactly the movie because that shit was painful. Going against them androids were pain. Pain. Everything was pain. The fight, the ending, all that shit. It's just good. Every piece of media I've seen it shown, been good for the most part. Great special. It's up there. It's better than the Bardock. And that's no diss to the Bardock special. That Bardock special is really good. But this one, take the cake. It's fire. Flames. Timeless as hell. You could go run that shit back over and over again. Still good.
So we've got these two specials that present something that's just a little bit different in today's era of Dragon Ball, right? First things first, we've got Dragon Ball Minus, also the first half of Dragon Ball Super Broly, which gives us a version of Bardock, the father of Goku, that doesn't exactly go the way that we were given here.
Yeah. Way different.
What are some of your takes here on D on what we have with Dragon Ball Super Broly or Dragon Ball Super Bardock? Because not just Dragon Ball Super Broly, even the Super manga has given us more of their take on what Bardock was like versus the Dragon Ball Z Bardock.
This shit, it is way different. As far as my preference, I prefer the Super / Minus one, though I find the Z one cool.
Okay.
But it's been beating this community, this fandom's ass for years on years. There are some folks that will refuse and refute Minus never happened. There are folks that consider this the history, like they consider that joint canon, which is funny because it ain't. I'm sorry, it ain't. But it's like we're 20 something years in, and folks, it feels like we're never gonna have like that one common ground. Like, hey, that was a special, and this is not anything that you saw before. That is getting rewritten by something that was completely meant from Toriyama's point of view in his mind. Whatever you saw in the TV special, it's really good. You enjoyed it. You can love it to death. It's not the end all be it all. It ain't. I'm sorry. It's not. I don't know why it's beating everybody's behind, and I get it's good. And it brings the whole topic into the canon, what's not canon. Like, how about this? Why don't you just enjoy it for what it is? Like, it ain't that serious. Like, it really ain't.
Honestly, I find myself in the same sort of wheelhouse, right? Where it's just like Dragon Ball Super's version of Bardock, at the very least, is giving us reason to understand Goku's gentle nature, right? To see that it wasn't just nurturing from Grandpa Gohan. It was in his blood. It was always capable for him to be that way, right? Especially when it comes down to what we've seen Bardock be like in the flashbacks during the Granola arc. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take away the dope ass moments you have of the blood bandana wearing man. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't take away how dope that presentation is. And like you said, it's never going to change because even stuff like Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Dragon Ball Heroes, they refer to that version of Bardock all the time.
All the damn time.
There's Super Saiyan 4 versions of that Bardock, Super Saiyan 3 versions of that Bardock, Timebreaker versions of that Bardock. Like Bandai's not trying to forget about Dragon Ball Z Bardock. I promise y'all, your version of Bardock still exists because in Japan there's no such thing as canon. Like, let's just be real.
Yeah, like there's no canon is not a big focal point over there. There's not. People it's a common, like, we're accepting this as a production TV production, whatever. This is production by whatever studio, such and such. And that's it. You take it for what you get. It's not going to affect, like, bro, like, I just like when folks just, oh, it's not canon, so just throw it away. Like, no, y'all don't do that for Broly movie. Y'all love that shit. There's no, well, it's not canon, so just forget about it. Like, no, y'all don't do that. Why y'all do it with everything else? Like, the specials are good. Whatever you saw in the specials ain't exactly what you saw in the manga, nor what you saw in the movie, the Super Broly movie. You did it, and that's fine. Why you trip about that shit? Don't do it. Take it. Nobody's taking away those movies from you at all. Nobody taking away the feeling that you saw when Bardock was just smoking all of Frieza's army, going up. Nobody's going to take that moment away from you. There's a reason why we have Solid State Scouter as our
because it's the hypest shit.
Like, come on, dude. Like, nobody, like, we have to just let it go as a whole. Like, we have to let that shit go. This cold canon talk is holding us back. We probably getting less dope shit than we possibly could because y'all so focused on canon. Nobody care about that shit. Nobody. I don't want no more. Please, if there's gonna be some dope ass form, some dope ass character introduced in Dragon Ball, I'ma take it. And if it's not in the super manga, and it just so happens to happen in the Dragon Ball Heroes, whatever, I'll take it. Like, I'm going to take it, man. As long as the character is cool, interesting, or whatever, I'm going to take it. And I suggest y'all folks just take what's good. Whatever is good, just take it for what it is. It's not trash. You don't got to worry about it. You don't have to fight with other people on, well, they canon, not canon. You don't have to do that, yo. You don't. Let it go.
Like I said, like, yo, if look at it like this. If Japan is willing to introduce new generations of kids to movie characters, to new forms, referring to GT stuff, if we're getting Super Saiyan 4, Broly, Bardock, Gohan, Vegito, all this stuff, then what does that tell you? Bandai only cares about one thing: making money. And making money doesn't care about canon.
They don't care. Oh, they don't care. Your imagination can go wild when it comes to making dollars off of folks. You could go crazy off of folks' imaginations with just throwing anything in there. I don't care. You motherfuckers say that GT is like the worst thing that ever happened to Dragon Ball, and they're still using stuff that happened in GT in these shows and these games. So what does that tell you? This shit not going nowhere. It's not nothing, bro. It ain't dying. It ain't. No matter how much I hate Broly movie 8, and no, bro, he's still gonna be a part of the series, whether I like it or not. I just gotta accept the fact that, hey, he's gonna be a stable point, and I could just avoid it. I could avoid the motherfucker. That's it.
Now, to go from one thing that, Bandai doesn't care about, Toei, Shueisha, with the canon, there's another thing they don't care about that ties into these two specials, and that's time. Because, see, going into the history of Trunks, I started paying attention to what they were telling me. And I started making the mistake of comparing that to where Dragon Ball is now. Early in the special, they tell us the androids have been around for 13 years. 13 years killing humanity.
13
So I thought about it. And I was like, okay. So if Goku died and then 6 months later the android showed up, So that's after the little 3 years, like, hey, Trunks is like, hey, in 3 years they're gonna show up. That's right then, right? So that's the beginning of the Cell and Android Saga, right? When they show up. Gohan and Trunks are fighting them niggas 13 years later. So 7 years later is when like Babidi and Boo show up in our normal timeline.
Yep.
6 years after that is where in Trunks' timeline, they're fighting against the androids. Now, if you think about it like this, right? 6 years after that, in the normal timeline, we're at Dragon Ball Super. We're in the middle of the Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah. How and when? How did...
Bro.
Another
time in Dragon Ball is a mess.
It is terrible, yo. It is terrible. And Super did not help. It didn't. I know a lot of folks like to say Super rights the wrongs that ZBZ has done. But Super made this issue worse.
Dragon Ball Z already was wrong with time travel when they did it. See, I don't know if a lot of y'all have taken the time to actually think about like, okay, so Trunks comes from the future and then we have the present. And maybe some people stop and think, okay, well, Trunks comes from the future and is the present, so there's two timelines. But I want to present to those people that they would be dead fucking wrong. That's not how it really works. See, when Trunks went to the past, he went to a past where it branches off, where Goku lives because he changed everything and the androids are stopped because Cell just happens to mention, and I know this for a fact because I just watched the episode the other day, The Ghost of Tomorrow, where Cell goes, I come from a future where you had already went to the past because there's no androids in my future. I was looking for the androids. They were nowhere to be found. You come back from the future and I kill you and I take your time machine and I go to a future and there's no androids there. So that's 3 timelines. One where a version of Trunks did go to the past, helped them, they fixed everything. He comes back. He had already stopped those androids, right?
Yep. Basically, he did what he had to do.
Then there's that. The fact that every time somebody goes back and forth in the time, it branches off, right? So that means we have a timeline we don't see as well, where Goku would have died and Cell would have absorbed the androids in that timeline, stayed there, and did his thing. And in the main timeline that we have in the show is where Cell and Trunks both went back. Cell hid underground till it was time. Trunks went back, notes everything, and then Trunks just happens to be around while Cell shows up, and then we have the show.
Basically.
So for anybody who was counting, that's 5 timelines. We don't see like 3 of them.
Daisenju, you're a liar from the pits of hell. You lied. Motherfuckers had a 4 futures revealed. I remember reading this shit way back. 4 futures revealed. Anybody want an image, I'll send it to them on Twitter. 4 futures revealed. And the motherfuckers got a history 4 in that motherfucker. And it says Cell game begins, Trunk absent. Cell game. How the hell did that happen? Do you know how the Cell game's begun? How the hell that happened? History 3, where Trunks gets smoked by Cell, and then Cell goes in the time machine to no androids. So what are we doing? They don't even accept that they created another timeline, a 5th timeline. They don't show you shit. It's a big old paradox that they couldn't even goddamn.
And it's like it has to be 2 different future timelines, because there's one where Cell is from the one that Trunks came from, where he killed Trunks and then went back, and then there's the one where Trunks goes back, kills the androids, and then kills Cell, because we see that.
Yeah, we saw that shit. So again, I need explanations and somebody help me understand what is going on.
We're not even talking about Dragon Ball Z again. We're only talking about Dragon Ball Z here.
I refuse. You can never. I will not. Super done messed up that whole time travel shit to the point I refuse to touch it. I will not talk about Super. No, I will not. You lied. Anybody that says that Super fixes the Z issues in Earth,
I have a chart that I would be glad to show y'all on Twitter that shows you Super did not fix a damn thing, because there are if there was 5 timelines in Dragon Ball Z, there's 13 in Super. 13.
Exactly.
I've done the math. I didn't even do the math myself. I saw somebody else do the math, and then I checked their math and was like, that all adds up. That all adds up. Even Toei's explanation that they came out with in the middle of the Goku Black arc doesn't fairly explain this.
They didn't. That's the problem when you make an anime and it ain't from the. It's just a bunch of different writers per episode. You cannot deal with time travel and have different writers doing different.
It's all different interpretations. It messes everything up.
It messes everything up. We got 13 timelines and we only seen what? 3 of them shits. And we didn't even get a good explanation out of the 3 shits that we saw. And then I send you announced that there was 4 of them shits, and they didn't even show you what happened in the 4th shit. So no, that was the biggest mistake. I know everybody enjoys Dragon Ball Super, and I know everybody enjoys the Android Saga, but fam, it has done a lot of damage. If you're trying to critique this series as a whole, there is no way you can look past the time travel shit. There's no way. You cannot.
It's not.
You cannot.
It's such a convoluted mess. Like
it's bad, yo. It's bad. So, which is a lot of people's favorite villain. He introduced so much problems. And it did not help because they continued these problems in Super years later. It took you 2 decades to go back and touch into No. Time travel is bullshit. It's bullshit in anime. I don't care what you say. Every form of time travel I've seen in anime has been done terribly. You showed me an anime with time travel, and you showed me that it was done well. And I guarantee you will not be able to explain to me how you won't. I don't care. Time travel is shit. It is so shit. You motherfucker, no. It's a big red flag. The biggest red flag. It hurts on a rewatch of Dragon Ball or a reread of Dragon Ball when I have to touch the Android Saga. Because the minute I see Cell, the minute I see Android 19 and Android 20 appear, it just so happens to register in my brain that we just completely had a timeline altered and another timeline that's not shown again when we introduce this Cell bullshit. Cell is a cancer. You heard it from me. I don't care about Cell. I care more about Gohan's moment than Cell as a character. He's generic, and he also made it's so iffy.
Cell is just a plot device, y'all.
He's a plot device and a terrible one at
He's a
that.
very charismatic plot device, y'all.
It's so terrible that you motherfuckers you guys love to. It's to a point it confuses you because you hate the fact that Goku's died and then Gohan got shined and then Gohan got bullshitted and the Boo are. That's all because of Cell. That's your favorite villain. That's your favorite villain. That is yours. It's bad. It's all bad. And a lot of folks having the Zamasu arguments.
Oh man, let's not even get started on Zamasu.
I'm not even gonna get started into that bullshit. That was some dog shit. It's a reason why there was one thing I agreed, whatever Super did. Making time travel a big cardinal sin in the Dragon Ball universe. I'm glad y'all did that.
Now we know we won't have to deal with it unless it's Xenoverse or Heroes.
Thank God. If we have another arc where we're going to mess with time, you heard it from me here. I'm skipping that arc. I'm dropping it. I'm dropping the arc. I don't care. Anytime you introduce time travel in Dragon Ball again in a main series, I am dropping it. I'm dropping it. Toyotaro, if you ever get this clip of me saying it, I'm dropping it. I'm done with the series. Do not touch this shit again. Don't touch time travel ever. It is bad in this series. It is bad. Toriyama, you need to explain your mess. You need to explain to me what was your thought process when you did. You have to. And don't tell me I was watching Star Trek. Please, no, don't tell me that.
Really, you didn't understand it to begin with, bro.
I know your inspirations. You could see it a mile away. We see your inspirations. Don't you have to explain to me how you did this? And your editors, the ones that so happen to correct all the bullshit that
they
you
didn't
do.
correct a damn thing here.
They didn't do a damn thing either. They didn't. They just made you. They just watched you just use your imagination and just casually write some nonsensical thing that so happened to just damage the story. So no. Thank God you guys realize, like, hey, let's have rules and regulations with the gods and let this be a big rule. I haven't seen any other rules. This is so hilarious. I haven't seen any other rules so far in Super besides time travel being a big sin, which is crazy. That's hilarious, but for good measure. Thank God we don't have to. Thank God. I hope in there, please don't even make a movie. I know 3 years, but please don't make a movie with time travel. I know y'all love Trunks. Future Trunks is a cool character. I don't want to see him if he's going to mess up the time. I really don't.
Y'all hearing it, man. Don't. Y'all hearing it. But at the same time, it's like this. I'm glad that we've gotten something really dope that's lasted throughout time with both of these specials.
Yes. As a whole, we got some good pieces of media. Whether they've done whatever what doesn't matter. If you can accept the movie,
have been added on to Dragon Ball Forever for better and for worse because of these specials.
Yeah, for sure.
We're definitely thankful for it all the way through because it just gives us more to talk about, whether it be there being 13 fucked up timelines. Or the fact that, Bardock is now just a completely different character than he was in 1990. It still just gives us more to be able to discuss. And it's going to give us more to be able to go into as we go into the future with this show, man. Because we are really happy to have been able to give y'all this whole first season here. Thank y'all for riding with us throughout this entire journey through the Dragon Ball Z movies. But we can definitely assure y'all that we will be back for season 2. to be able to dive into more topics. I'll even say we're not done with Dragon Ball just yet. We're not done with Dragon Ball just yet. Season 2, you can expect us to give y'all more Dragon Ball related love, man, because there's a lot to discuss.
Hell yeah. For as long as Toriyama and Toyotaro have a pen, and Shueisha and Toei still have the idea that Dragon Ball will forever be alive, will be.
That's entirely true. You can expect us to move away from movies as we've covered all those thus far, but we'll be back to let y'all know a little bit more about what to expect for season 2 within the coming months. But as always, remember, subs lie, dubs lie, J and D, we don't, man.
We never, man. We really don't. Toei
lies, Shueisha lies, Funimation lies, Crunchyroll, they don't lie. But they don't lie.
They don't lie. We like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, subs lie and dubs lie all the time, baby. All right. But until then, man, we gonna keep bringing y'all this truth, all right? We'll holla at y'all next season. We out. Peace.
Later.